Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're going to crack open a really cool horror story concept and figure out what makes it tick, what makes it so terrifyingly good.
All right, so just reading that, this is a fantastic horror concept, right? It's got all the right ingredients, So let's dive in and really break down the storytelling architecture here, figure out what makes a premise like this so incredibly effective.
So, every great story, it needs a compelling hook, right? And this one, well, it starts with a really classic setup, but it's been perfectly tailored for a modern audience. Let's take a look at how they pull that off.
Okay, so what's so fascinating here is how all these familiar tropes, things we've seen before, combine into this really potent modern formula. You've got the creepy, cursed manor. That's a total gothic horror staple, right? Then you've got the skeptical protagonists, which is great because it lets our own disbelief get chipped away right along with theirs. And then you throw in that found footage element. That's what grounds the whole thing in a reality we can all recognize.
And this is the key. You see, by making the main characters urban explorers, content creators we'd literally see on YouTube, the whole story just feels instantly accessible. It's not some far-off, unbelievable scenario. No, it feels like it could be a real video you'd click on. And that's what makes the supernatural stuff feel so much more jarring when it finally hits.
Okay, so let's move on to the catalyst. This is where things get really interesting, because this is how the story elevates its ghost from just some simple, scary monster into a genuinely tragic character, one with a real purpose.
So, the diary, it's not just a clue. Think of it more like the engine that drives the entire emotional core of this story. Because before they find it, right, the explorers are just looking for thrills. But after, they're suddenly dropped right into the middle of a story, a really heartbreaking one that started almost 100 years ago.
And it's just amazing, isn't it? How powerful a few simple words on a page can be. Just a few lines from a diary, and suddenly our ghost, Eleanor, she has a history, a voice, a motive. We actually start to feel for her. And all of a sudden, the story isn't just about being scared anymore. Now it's about the horrible injustice she suffered.
Okay, so how does a story like this build suspense without just, throwing a bunch of cheap jump scares at us? Well, it uses this absolutely fantastic technique called the gradual scare buildup.
And this methodical escalation is just masterful. It starts so small, right? With things that are easy to dismiss. The wind, an old house settling, that kind of thing. But then it grows. It becomes more direct, more undeniable. And what this does is it pulls us, the audience, deeper and deeper into the suspense, step by step. So we're feeling that dawning horror right alongside the characters.
And here it is. This is the moment the floor completely drops out from under them, the exit's blocked, the phones have no signal. At this point, the story just shifts gears dramatically. This is no longer a fun little exploration they can just leave whenever they want. Oh no, it has just become a desperate fight for survival.
Now this is where the story's genius really, truly shines. It doesn't just stay a survival horror story. It does something brilliant. It merges that horror plot with this super compelling, decades-old cold case mystery.
So our explorers, they're basically prisoners now, right? They have no choice but to become detectives. And their investigation kicks off with the first real, tangible piece of the past, a photograph. And this is so crucial because she's no longer just a name in a diary. Now the victim has a face.
And what's cool here is that the haunting itself actually guides the investigation. It's like Eleanor's spirit is leading them to secrets the manor has literally held locked away for decades. With every single discovery, they get pulled deeper and deeper into the truth.
And then, finally, they find it, a piece of recorded history, the newspaper clipping. This is the thing that confirms all their growing suspicions about what really happened to Eleanor. It's the moment that turns legend into cold, hard fact.
This structure is just so effective. And it's because it gives us, the audience, a dual role. On the one hand, we're on the edge of our seats, totally scared for the protagonists. But at the same time, we're leaning in, invested in solving the crime with them. It engages our fear and our brain at the exact same time. It's brilliant.
So here's the crucial point, the big twist really. This story isn't just about some vengeful spirit lashing out randomly. No, it's about a spirit who is desperately, desperately seeking justice. And that changes everything.
This completely redefines the ghost motive. The terror she's inflicting, it isn't random malice, it's a focused, desperate attempt to communicate. to use these intruders as her voice to the living world. Suddenly you realize she's not the villain at all. She's the one driving this entire investigation.
And that is what makes the resolution so deeply satisfying. Think about it. By solving the mystery, the explorers don't just save their own skins. They bring peace to Eleanor's spirit, and they bring peace to the manor itself. The curse isn't lifted by some magic spell or an exorcism. It's lifted by the truth finally coming out.
Ultimately, a concept like this is a great reminder that the best, most effective horror stories, they aren't just about the scare, are they? They're about the human tragedy behind it. Yeah, the fear might make our heart race for a minute, but it's the story, the injustice of it all, that's what really haunts you, long after the credits roll.